So this is about maps ADT, and maybe you will see that this maps is a bit similar with the section about the data in Python, which is dictionary. So the maps and dictionary, actually it is almost similar concept. We call it maps. If you still remember about the priority queue, in the priority queue, we have the key and value. So the key in the priority queue is to determine whether a particular value can be go first or later. So in the priority queue, we use numbers. If the number is low, then it can go earlier. If the number is high, then it can go later. In the map, we do not consider any priority. We do not consider any sequence, but we just want to save the elements, and we will have key and value. So if you are in the priority queue, you have Sunso or the order, but in map, you will not consider any order. There is no order, and we are just trying to search or insert or deleting the items. If you still remember in the priority queue, some cases are possible with the same key. So maybe we have the number 5 as the key, and then 5 is repeatable. So you have another element and the key is 5, but the values are different. In priority queue, it is still allowed, but in maps, the same key are not allowed. So some application for the map is, for example, address book. So in address book, you will have like one person will have at least one address. Okay. So the key will be, for example, the okay, or the social security ID or your citizen ID, and then the value will be the address. Or student record database. Let's say you have the student ID, and then you have the record about what kind of courses did you take previously, and what kind of courses are you taking in this semester, and then how about your score of your mid exam, your assignment, etc. So the key will be the student ID, and the data will be maybe the courses or anything related to the grade and etc. So we have the key and value. That's the case in the maps. So if you take a look on dictionaries, okay, dictionary is a Python class. So this DICT class is the most significant data structure in the language, okay, because the idea is we want to save every data with key and values. So the concept is the same with map. Okay? The concept is the same with map, but let's see. When we use the term dictionary, it is specifically discussing about the Python dictionary class. And when we use the third map, we specialize this map to general notion of the abstract data type. You know what does it mean by general notion of abstract data type? So it means that dictionary is only in the Python. If you are using like Java, or if you are using C, you are using C++, you are using C#, and etc. They have different way to show the dictionary. Okay. So the dictionary is only in Python. But if you want to use the idea of the dictionary in other programming languages, you need to use map. So for example, in Java, you will use map. And map is general. So you can use map in Python. Yeah, I will explain a little bit later. And then you can use also map in C++. You can use map in the C# and etc. So the map ADT, we know the ADT is the abstract data type. There are some methods in map ADT. For example, this one, when you are doing the MK, if you still remember in the dictionary, yeah, this map ADT is using the dictionary syntax. Okay? So if you are familiar with the dictionary, I think before the mid exam, we'll learn a little bit about the dictionary. And if we want to get the value, so if we want to get the value of an associated with key K in the map M, yeah. So for example, we have the value is V, and then we have the K is the key. So K comma V. So it means we have PK and then value V. So sometimes we can just represent like this one, or maybe we have the like K and then with the column V. Okay. So there are several representations to show about the dictionary, but I don't want to discuss here. But this one is the syntax. If I have the key and the key is K, and then I want to show the value V, so I just try to call MK and I will get the value V. If I want to replace, so I want to replace, I want to call the particular PK in the M is the map or the dictionary, and I want to change the value into the new value which is V. So we can use this syntax. If I want to delete, just del means delete, MK. So when you just delete the K, then every value is also deleted for the key equals to K. Length M is I want to know what is the length of the M. And then iter M is I want to know about the iteration for every element in the maps. So this is about maps ADT. If you have maybe you will see that it means you want to this maps is a bit similar iteration. You want the section for every element in data in Python, and then if you want to get the maps and dictionary, D equals to none. Actually, it is so it means almost similar concept. If key K exists, we call it. What about if K is not exists? If you still remember about the priority queue, so it will return in the priority queue default value we have. So here we have the value D is known. Then we will get value NE or known. So the key and this will provide priority queue query MK is with database of whether a particular value can be go when you use MK first, or when you use MK, you want to get the, so in the priority queue we use numbers. Want to get the associated if the number value is here low, then it can go earlier. If there will be an error high, then it can go the key later. K is not in the map. We do not consider any priority. You use just this. We do not consider. You can get the value sequence if the K is, but we just want to save the key element is not exist, and we will have key. In the case of get, you can get the value. So if K exists, if you are in the priority but queue, if K does not exist, it will return according to the order. T. But in the if map, you set T equals to you none, will not then consider any order. So it is a kind of, there is no order exception, and we do not want to stop the program, but we want to give to search any value when it or insert error or deleting the items. So we have another kind of if operation you still remember in the priority queue. So in the set default, some cases are possible with the same key. Then so maybe just we have MK. The number 5. If K does not exist as the key, then 5 set is MK equals to D. Repeatable. So you have another. So here if element we have and the key is 5. But the values are different. Then yeah, it will automatically add the K is still allowed with the value of D. But in maps, but if K is still the same key in the map are not allowed. We will just put the some application just for the map the value of for example address book. So in address book you will have like so if you still remember this is will have at least one address in the stack. So the key will be this, for example, pop, or we want to remove one or the social security ID. You want to remove the item associated with citizen ID from the map, and then the value will be the address. If K is not in the map, student record then return the default you have the student ID. So if K it does not exist, you have the record about what kind of courses did you take previously and what kind of courses so are you taking in this semester, for example, like and then how we have about your score of your exam, your assignment, etc. So the key will be the student ID. We want to remove, and the data will be any key value courses, but or anything related to the grade and etc. The meaning by arbitrary. So we have the key and value. That's the case in the maps, random. Okay. So any random. So if you take a look on when you have many dictionary elements, okay, it will just select dictionary any elements to be removed. So this DICT class is the most significant data structure in the language. It will remove an arbitrary key value from the map and return K, the idea is so K we want to save and every data with tuple representing the removed key. And so if map is empty, then so the concept is the same with map. Then it means if there is no element in the map, but then it will go to error. But as long as you have the element dictionary, it will remove randomly. It is specifically discussing about the Python dictionary class. And when we remove the term map, all the key values, we specialize this map to general notion of we want to see all the keys only in the map. What does it mean by general notion? Values. We want to see all the values only from the map. And so it means that so if we dictionary items means is you want to see the only in the Python, comma B. So if you are using like Java, show, or if you are using C, you are using C++, you are using C sharp, etc. They have different ways. Some to show the dictionary. And if I want to update with M2, so the dictionary is another map in Python. I want to update. If you want to use the idea of the dictionary, I want to input other more elements from M2. You need to use the M map. So, for example, in Java, And then I
you
can
will
do
use
with this
map.
kind of
And map
equivalent.
is
It means
general.
I want to check whether
So you can
M
use map
equals to
M2 or not.
in Python. Yeah, I will
If
explain every
a little
element
bit
in
later,
M, and
is
then
the
you
same
can
with
use
the
also
every
map
element
in
in
C++.
map to
You can use
M2.
map in the
So this
C
one
sharp
is
and etc.
true.
So the map of M1, M2 have identical key value
So the map ADD,
association. We know the
so
ADD
this
is
the
defined.
abstract data
Key
type.
and value should be the same.
Key and
There
value
are
should be the same.
some methods in
And
the map ADD.
we can
For
also
example,
check
this
whether
one, M when you
is not
are
equal
doing
to
the
M2.
MK. So if M
you still
is not
remember
equal to
in
M2,
the
then
dictionary,
it will return true if they
this
do
map
not
ADD
have identical.
is using the dictionary
value
syntax association. Okay? So if you are familiar with the dictionary, I think before the mid exam we'll learn a little bit about the dictionary. And if we want to get the value, so if we want to get the value of an associated with key K in the map M, yeah. So for example, we have
example,
the value is V,
it is the step by
and then we have the K is the
code.
key. So K
We start with
comma
the
V. So it
M.
means we have
M is
PK
map.
and then value
Then
V.
we want to get the length.
So sometimes we can just represent like
Because
this one,
we have
or
no element.
maybe we
Then
have the
the return
like
value will be
K and then
zero.
with the column V. Okay.
So this is empty.
So there are
Now I
several
would like to
representations
assign M
to show
K.
about the dictionary,
Okay, so
but I
K
don't want to discuss
is
here.
a
But this one
character.
is
That's why I
the
put
one
syntax.
single quote.
If I have the key
And MK
and the key
goes
is
to
K.
2.
So K
And then
is
I
the
want to
key,
show the value V.
and then
So I
2
can
is the
just
value.
try to call MK,
I have another
and I will get
MB
the
equal to
value V.
4. So I can just put B,
And the value is 4.
if I want to
I have
U
replace.
equals to 2,
So I want to
so I
replace.
add again U equals to 2, and then
I
I
want to call the
equals
particular
to 8. Okay, so I have
PK
B
in
equals to
the
8.
M is the
Now
map
you
or
will
the
see
dictionary. And
MK
I want
equals
to
to
change
9.
the value into the new value, which is V.
Why? There is no additional
So we can use this syntax.
information here.
If I want to delete, just del.
Right.
Del means delete. MK. So when you just delete the K, then every value is also deleted for the key equals to
Anybody?
length M is I want to know what is the length of the M. And then iter M is I want to know
Why there is
about
no
the iteration
additional
for
K?
every element in the
You
map.
can just say this one K equals to 9, because in the first we have K equals to 2.
If you have K in M, it means you want to do the
K
iteration.
equals to 9.
You want to look for
And then
every
when
element
we
in
have
M.
the first one is K equals to 2.
And then if you want to get
But why
get
K do not have
B
the K
equals
equals
to
to
none.
2 anymore?
So it means you will return MK
Okay,
if
that's right.
PK exists.
Thank you, Kim Jion.
What about
Because
if
we
K
already
is
have
not
the
exist?
same key. K has been
So it
defined.
will return
So
the
according
default
to the
value G.
definition,
So here
we
we have the value G is known.
only one key.
Then you will get
Multiple keys
N, O, and E
are
or
not
known.
allowed. It means
And
if
this
we
will
already
provide
have the
a
K,
form to query MK
so
without
the
risk of
original
key
K,
errors.
what is the original K?
Oh, what does it mean?
The K here has the value 2.
When you use MK,
So if
when you use
we
MK,
want to
you want to
have
get
this
the
MK equal to
value.
9,
You want
it
to get
will
the
update
associated
the
value here.
not again 2, but now becomes
But
K equals to 9.
there will be an error if the key
So let me
K
just remove
is
every
not
of my
available
node.
in the
So you
data.
will see that
So
now
when you use just this
K
MK,
is the key
you can get the
with the
value,
value
if the K
of
is
9 because
exists. But if
this
the K
this statement.
is not exist, it will go to error.
And then I want to
In the
check
case of
what
cat,
is the
you
value
can get
of
the
MB.
value
B
if K
is
exists.
key.
But if K
And
does
then
not
you will
exist,
see that okay,
it will
MB
return according
has a
to
value
the
of 4. So we will return 4.
So if you set T equals to
What
none,
about MX?
then it will show none. So it is a kind of
MX
is
exception. I want
we do
I
not
want
want
to
to
check
stop
whether
the
the key
program,
X
but we want to
is
give
available
any
or not.
value when it this
When you
error.
check, this is K, this is P, this is U, and then this
So
is
we
P.
have so there is no
Another
X.
kind of operation
Then
like set default.
It
So
returns
in the set
error.
default,
Okay.
if the K
What about
exists,
if I want to get
then
F?
just return MK. If K does not exist,
The same?
then
We do not
set
have
MK
the key
equals
F.
to D. We do not have
So
F.
here,
If
then
we have
we
new
just
K,
return
then
according
it will
to the
automatically
default
add
value.
the K with the
what is
value
the
of
default
K.
value?
But if
As we
K
already
is
saw
still
from the
exists
previous one
in the map,
the default
we
value
will
will
just
be put the value,
none.
or we will just show the value of MK. Okay, so this is the default value.
pop.
Because the default value is
So
known,
if you still remember,
that's why
this is the
whenever
method
we have the
in
get
the
stack
key,
which
okay,
the
so
key does not
this
exist,
one is to pop,
or we
so
want
here
to
does not
remove
exist in the key
one
K,
of the element.
P, U,
So
V,
it
because
means
there is
we
no
want to
F,
remove
the item
then
associated
the
with
result will be
K from
none.
the map and return the value V.
What about
If
I
K is
have
not in the map,
F,
then return the
comma 5?
default value D. So if K does not exist,
then we will return none.
we want to get F.
So a few
And
more
I
maps
want to
operation,
put
for
the
example,
value of
like
5. We have pop items. So
we
pop
know that
item
there is no
means
F.
we have the
But why we want to set
we want to
a new
remove
value
5 here, any key value, but
okay, according to the
arbitrary.
definition, you know what is
If
the
you
meaning
have
by
get
arbitrary?
K, comma D,
It is D is the default value.
random.
So if
Okay.
you
Cannot
so any
find the
random
K,
value,
or
so
when you
if you
have
cannot
many
find the K,
you will
elements,
return
the
the value.
just select if there is no
any
definition of the
elements,
value to be
you
removed.
will return none. But if you define a value, in this case I define 5. So I define a value, so the return
So
value will be,
it will
remove an arbitrary key value pair from the
So
map
it will
and
not
return
return
K,
none,
comma V,
but it
so
will
K
return
is the
the
key
value
and
that
V is the value
defined.
that tuple representing the removed pair.
Now
So
I
if
have
map is
M,
empty,
then
then
it
get
raise
K,
key
comma 5.
error.
Then it means
What
if
is it?
there is no element
I
in
want
the
to check K,
map,
then it will go
if
to
K
error.
exists, but as long as
Then
you have element,
return
it
the
will
value of
remove
K randomly.
But if K does not exist, return 5. Clear. So
We
K
want to
exists or not, remove all the key value we have in the map.
the key
equals
is
to K.
So I will
M
return the
is
value
we want
of
to
9.
see
We will
all
not
the
return
keys
5 only in the map.
because
Okay.
M values we want to see all
Axis, the values only in
from the
the
map.
element of the map.
M items. So if we deal with the items means we
After
want to see the
K,
all
comma V.
size. I
So
want to
every
check
K,
what
comma
is
V
the
will
length.
be shown.
Okay, we have 4. Because we
Okay.
have 1, 2,
So the
3, M4
has
if we want
some
to delete
elements.
V and if I want to update
So
with
the
M2
V is
so the M2
deleted.
is another
From
map. This
I want to
dictionary.
update M with
So
the
we
M2.
have only
So
3
I want
elements,
to
K,
put
P, and U.
more elements from M2
And then let's use
into
pop.
the M.
So when we pop,
It means we want to
and then I can do
remove.
with this kind of equivalent.
It
As
means
we
I want to
already
check
learned
whether
before,
M
what is
equals
pop?
to M2 or not.
If every element in M
Remove
item
is the same with
associated
every element
key
in K.
map to M2, so we want to pop.
So this one
K.
is true.
It means I want
So
to
the
remove
K.
map
So it's
of
not the same with the
M1,
stack.
M2
In the
have
stack,
identical
You will
key
do the
pop.
value association.
Okay, so this is
You
the
will
key
remove the last
key and
element.
value should be the same.
So
Key
in
and
this
value
case,
should
we
be the
don't
same.
know where is the last
And
element, where is the
we can
first
also
element.
check whether
As
M
I mentioned, it is
is
not
not
equal
in
to
the
M2.
order.
It is different with
So
priority
if
queue.
M is not
So
equal
map
to M2,
is not
then it
in the
will
order.
return true.
If
So
they
when
do
we
not
call
have
pop K,
identical,
means I
key
just want to
value
remove
association.
the key K. So the return value will be the
So
value
let's
which
see.
is 9.
And now we have the remaining two items. If I want to check all the keys, okay, I have P and U. If I want to check all the values, then I have 4 and 2. So in this
And
example,
if I want
to check all the items,
it is the step
then
by
I
step
have
of the
P, 4
code.
and U, 2.
We start with the
Okay. So
M.
we can just remember those three things.
M is
and then
empty
value
map.
and items.
When we want to get the length,
Now I want to
because
set
we have no
default,
element,
then the return value will be 0. We know that P, so this is axis.
empty. Now I
And
would like to
one
assign M K.
Is
It's
the
okay.
additional
Is
value
a character.
if
That's why
B
I
does
put
not exist.
one single quote. And
So that's
MK equals to 2. So
Set
K
default.
is the key,
So it will be
and then 2 is
the
the value.
method. If K exists in the map,
I have
then
another
simply
statement MB equals to
return
4.
MK.
So I can just put
if it
B,
is not
and the value
exist,
is
if
4.
K does not exist,
I have U
then
equals to 2.
set the
So
MK
I add
equals
again
to
U
T
equals to 2. And then I have
and return
B
the value.
equals to 8. Okay. So
So
I
in
have
this case,
B equals to 8. Now you will see
we have set default P,
MK equals to 9.
1. What about P?
Why? There is no
P
additional
exists or not?
information here.
Yes. P exists.
Why?
Then we will just return the element or the value of P. So it is 4. Now if I have a new one, anybody? Set default A, 1. Now A. A exists or not?
Why there is no
Because
additional
A
K?
is not here,
You can
then
just say this one K
we will add
equals to 9
the key
because
A.
in the first we have K equals to 2.
So we will add the key A, so A with a value
K equals to
of
9.
1.
Okay.
Will be added
And then
into
when
the
we have
map
the
or
first
into
one
the
is K equals to
dictionary.
2. But why? We do not have
And the last
K
one,
equals to 2
we have the
anymore.
statement to do the pop item.
Okay, that's
So
right.
pop item is
Thank you, Kim Jion.
arbitrary.
Because we already
random.
have the same key.
The
K
one that I mentioned
has
here.
been defined.
Remove an
So
arbitrary
according to the
key value
definition,
pair.
we
So it means
have
random.
only one key.
Yeah, for this example,
Multiple keys
yeah, you
are not allowed.
can see
It
it is
means
B,
if
4.
we
So
already
it's
have
random.
the K,
But
in
so
your
the case in your
original
data,
K,
we
what
don't
is
know
the
whether
original K?
we are going
The
to
K here
remove
has the
B,
value
or
2.
maybe we can remove U, or we can
So
remove A.
if we want to
Because it is
have
random.
this MK equals to 9, it will update the value, not again 2, but now becomes K equals to 9.
So this map, it can be implemented with the
So let me just remove
unsorted
my
list.
list.
So you will see that now
This K is the key with a value
the
of
unsorted
9
list,
because
you know from the priority queue, this statement. Unsorted list means,
and then I want to check what is the value of MP. P is the
if we do the unsorted
key,
list,
and then you will see that okay, MB has a value of 4, so we will return 4.
we will input
What about MX?
without sorting.
MX is, and I want to check whether the key X
We will
is
sort
available or not.
the value.
When you
No.
check,
So
this is K, this is P, this is U,
So
and
we
then
will
this
sort
is
the
P.
value.
So there is no X. Then
Okay.
it returns
I
error.
need to delete it. Okay. So whenever we use the
What about if I want to get
unsorted
F?
list, we will put every value without sorting.
the same?
And then if we want
We do
to
not
extract
have
the value,
the key
we
F.
sort it first.
We do not have
So
F.
this can
Then
be efficiently
we
implemented
just return
by map.
according to the default value.
And if you are using
What
the
is the
priority
default
queue,
value?
yeah, that's also
As we
fine,
already
but
saw
in
from
the
the
priority
previous
queue,
one,
you need to
the
understand the
default
value
sequence
will be. So in this case, you do not need the
No.
sequence. Just use the unsorted list. And if you want
So
to
this is
get
the
default value.
according to the, because the default value is known,
list
that's
value.
why
Maybe you want to
whenever
get
we
from
have the
A
get
and then B and then C,
key, which
then
the
you
key
can
does
do
not
the sorting.
exist. So here does not exist
in the key.
We can
A,
store the items of the
P,
map
U,
in a list
V,
S
because there is no F.
if you still
Then the
remember
result
the
will be
doubly linked list.
none. Okay.
So the doubly linked list means we have the
What about if I
header
have
and
F
trailer,
and
and for every of this element we connect. Okay. For every of this element we connect. We want
the
to
other
get
element.
so we know where is the first and where is the next. Okay, where is the higher and where is the I want
later.
to put the value of 5. We know that there is no F. But why we want to set
In the map
a new
is
value 5? Actually, there are several kind of maps. Okay, I cannot explain all
according
the
to the
definition.
definition.
But we are going to learn. If you have get the K has map D. Okay?
D is the default
So
value.
in the next section,
So
we
if
will learn
you
about the
cannot
hash
find
map.
the K,
And
so
if
if
the
you
other
cannot
kind
find
of
the
map,
K,
you
you
will
need to
return
learn it,
the
then
value.
you can refer to the book.
If there is no definition of the value, you will return none. In the map case, if you define a value, is the same with every other
I define
abstract
5.
data type.
It
So
will
I
be a
define a
class.
value. So the return value will be,
It will be a class,
and then you will see the
so
item.
it will not
return
we
none,
have the key,
but
and
it will
value.
return the value
Then
that
you need to
you
construct
define. The constructor will contain two
things, which
now
is
I
the
have
key,
M
K, and
dot
then the
get
value
K,
V.
comma 5.
So
What is
the
it? I want to check
in many
K.
abstract data type, you will
If
include
K
whether the
exists,
key equals to the key,
then
and then not equal,
return the
and
value
then
of K.
less than. Okay.
But if K
and
does
so
not
on.
exist, return
And
5.
yeah,
So
this
K
is
exists
about
or
the
not?
unsorted table map.
Whenever you have the
Yes.
key and
We
value,
have the key
you will need
equals
to
to K.
input it. So I will return
the
the value
basic
of 9.
method
We will
here
not
is
return
about
5. Because
yeah,
K
this is the unsorted table map,
exists.
and you will see this
In
one
the
is
element
the
of the map.
constructor.
Okay.
And you need to get the item.
After
So get the item means
all this stuff, I
you want to get what is the
length.
value of
Okay,
K.
we have 4.
So if K equals
Because
to the
we
item
have
key,
one,
then return the value. If
Four.
there is no,
If you
K,
want to delete V,
then you will see the key error.
okay, so the V
Is deleted
set item.
from,
So you
this
need to
dictionary.
know that the set
So
item
we
has
have
only
the,
3 elements, K, P, and U.
item for,
And then let's use pop.
if you cannot find the K,
So when we pop,
then
it means
you
we
can
want
just
to create
a
remove
new
K, comma V.
But if you can find
As
the
we
K,
already learned before,
if K
what
is
pop?
found, then you want to just
Pop.
show the
Remove
value.
item associated
If you
with
cannot find the
K,
then
so we want to pop
the
K.
append.
It means I want
It
to
means
remove
you
K.
want to add a new.
So it's not the
K.
same with the stack.
In the stack,
And
you
then
will
there's
do the
pop.
the delete,
And
if you find
you
the
will remove
K
the last element.
so in this case, we don't
for
know
example,
this one
where
is
is
using
the
a
last
table.
element, where
Okay.
is the first element.
Yeah, basically we
As
can
I
use
mentioned, it is
the idea
not
of
in the order.
list or the dictionary.
It is different with
In
primary
this case,
two.
we are using a
So map
table.
is not in the order.
So this is the table.
So when
Okay,
we
so
call
the table
pop
is a
K,
list.
it means
Okay.
I just want
And
to
then we
remove
can pop
the key
so
K.
pop. We want to remove.
So
Okay,
the
so this is
return value
the
will be the value, which is 9.
method that you
And
learn
now
in
we have
the
set.
remaining two.
So
items.
when we are just using pop, we remove.
And then
If
if
I
we
want to
cannot
check all the
find
keys,
that item, we
okay,
go
I
to
have B and
arrow.
U. If I want to check all the values,
Length
then
is
I
the
have 4
length,
and 2.
and then iter is
And
the
if I
iteration.
want to check all the items, then I have P, comma 4. What about the performance? U, comma 2.
So
Okay.
when you have
So
map,
we can
and then if
just
you want to
remember
put it into
those
the
three
list,
things.
then
And then value and items.
we can say that
Now
takes
I want to
one
set
time.
default.
Whenever we insert the new item at the beginning or
We
at
know
the
that
end
P
of the unsorted list.
exists.
So you already learned about the
And
unsorted
then
list.
1
Whenever you input
is
the
value,
additional
or whenever you
value
input one element
if
into the list,
P does not exist. You don't care about the, so let's see, position. Because
that
you don't care
before.
about the position, then it
So
takes
it
only
will
O1.
be the method.
But if you want to
K
search
exists in the map,
then
or
simply
you want to remove the
with
item,
an M key, then you need to
if
find
it
one
is
by one.
not access,
So the
if
worst
K
case
does
will
not
be
exist, ON.
then
Because you will
set
do the loop. MK
from
equals
index
T
0 and then index 1, index
and
2,
return
index 3
the value.
until index n. The worst
So in
case
this
will
case,
be you will take a look from the first until the last. We have set default P. So in this case, we are traversing from the
P
first
access or not?
until we found the given key. Or if we cannot
Yes.
find the key,
P
then we still need to find
access.
one by one from the
Then
beginning until
we
the
will
end.
just return the element or the value of
So the
P.
unsorted
So it
list
is four.
implementation is effectively for only maps.
Now, if
of
I have a
small
new
size,
one, or for maps with insertion
set
as the most
default
common
A,
operation,
one. And search
Now, A.
and removers are
A
rarely
exists
performed.
or not?
So I hope that you understand
Because
this meaning.
A is not here.
If you are just doing like
then
insertion,
we
insert,
will add
insert.
the key
So it takes
A.
O1. It's easy.
So we
But
will
if
add
you
the
want
key
to
A
search or
A
if you want to remove
with a value
then
of 1.
it takes will
more
be
time.
added into the map or into the you
Dictionary.
can choose whether you want to use the sorted list or unsorted list. And this is the benefit
And the
of
last
using
one, we have
unsorted
the
list.
statement to
Because if you just insert
to the
insert,
pop item.
insert, there is
The
no
pop
issue
item
with the performance.
is
Arbitrary, random.
Okay.
The one
Okay,
that
I
mentioned to
guess
you.
yeah.
Remove
I
an
just
arbitrary
stop here because
key value
I
pair.
need more time to
So
explain
it means
the
random.
concept of
Yeah,
the
for
next
this
section.
example,
Okay.
yeah, you
Any
can
questions,
see it is
comments?
B, 4, so it's random. But in your case, in your data, we don't know whether we are going to remove B or maybe we can remove U or we can remove A because it is random. So this map, it can be implemented with the unsorted list. Do you still remember this? The unsorted list, you know from the priority queue. Unsorted list means if we do the unsorted list, we will input without sorting and we will sort the value. Oops, it's not clear. So we will sort the value. Oh, okay. It's suddenly deleted. Okay, so whenever we use the unsorted list, we will put every value without sorting. And then if we want to extract the value, we sort it first. So this can be efficiently implemented by map. Okay. And if you are using the priority queue, yeah, that's also fine. But in the priority queue, you need to understand the sequence. So in this case, you do not need the sequence. Just use the unsorted list. And if you want to get according to the maybe the list value, okay, maybe you want to get from A and then B and then C, then you can do the sorting. We can store the items of the map in the list S if you still remember the doubly linked list. Okay. So the doubly linked list means we have the header and trailer, and for every of this element we connect. Okay. For every of this element we connect to the other element. So we know where is the first and where is the next. Okay, where is the prior and where is the later. In the map phase,
Actually, there are several kind of maps. Okay, I cannot explain all the things, but we are going to learn the hash map. Okay. So in the next section, we will learn about the hash map. And I think the other kind of map, if you need to learn it, then you can refer to the book. In the map phase, abstract class is the same with every other abstract data type. It will be a class. It will be a class, and then you will see the item. Okay, we have the key and value. And then you need to construct. The constructor will contain two things, which is the key K and then the value V. So in many abstract data type, you will include whether the key equals to the key and then not equal and then less than, okay, and so on. And yeah, this is about the unsorted table map. Whenever you have the key and value, you will need to input it. Okay. So the basic method here is about the, yeah, this is the unsorted table map. And you will see this one is the constructor. And you need to get the item. So get the item means you want to get what is the value of K. So if K equals to the item key, then return the value. If there is no K, then you will see the key error. Set item. So you need to know that the set item is the item for, if you cannot find the K, then you can just create a new K, V. But if you can find the K, so if K is found, then you want to just show the item value. If you cannot find the K, then do the append. It means you want to add a new K. And then there's the delete. If you find the K in the, for example, this one is using table, okay? Yeah, basically we can use the idea of list or the dictionary. In this case, we are using a table. So this is the table, okay? So the table is a list, okay? And then we can pop. So pop, we want to remove, okay? So this is the method that you learn in the sec. So when we are just using pop, we remove, and then if we cannot find that item, we go to error. Length is the length, and then iter is the iteration. What about the performance? So when you have map, and then if you want to put it into the list, then we can say that it takes O1 time whenever we insert the new item at the beginning or at the end of the unsorted list. So you already learned about the unsorted list. Whenever you input the value or whenever you input one element into the list, you don't care about the position. Because you don't care about the position, then it takes only O1. But if you want to search or you want to remove the item, then you need to find one by one. So the worst case will be ON, because you will do the loop from index 0 and then index 1, index 2, index 3 until index n. The worst case will be you will take a look from the first until the last. So in this case, we are traversing from the first until we found the given key. Or if we cannot find the key, then we still need to find one by one from the beginning until the end. So the unsorted list implementation is effectively for only maps of small size. or for maps with insertion as the most common operation, and search and removers are rarely performed. So I hope that you understand this meaning. If you are just doing like insertion, insert, 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 so it takes O1, it's easy. But if you want to search or if you want to remove, then it takes more time. Okay? You can choose whether you want to use the sorted list or unsorted list. And this is the benefit of using unsorted list. Because if you just insert, 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 there is no issue with the performance. Okay. Okay, I guess yeah, I just stop here because I need more time to explain the concept of the next section. Okay. Any questions, comments?